What's up, guys? Welcome back. Property Chef. Here's your Nassau County update. Let's take a look at everything that's closed in the last 2 weeks. Oh my goodness, I need a haircut. Look at me. I need a haircut. That will be done. Next video, you'll see one, hopefully. All right, so let's go to unavailable sales, Nassau County. And I'm also going to do is start giving you closing costs a little bit towards the top of the video so people don't have to wait to the end to see it. So, stick around. We got from the 7th to the 14th. There have been, actually, I think it's to the 15th because whatever, it's today. Actually, 14th because it's going to throw off my next video, right? So we had 91 sales take place. Let's make sure they're all sold. Yeah, 91 closings have taken place in the last week in Nassau County. And let's dive in a little bit, take a peek, and see what we got here. So let's jump into Beth Page here. 6 Edna Avenue, taxes 11,600, 6 bedrooms, 3 full baths, 60 by 120. High Ranch. There's some big windows in the back. Is that an extension? Yeah, it looks like an extension to me. They still have the siding on the wall. Wow. That is some antique furniture. Probably worth some money to the right buyer. Nice bathroom. One bathroom's older. Where's the kitchen? Decent kitchen. That refrigerator looks like a television. All right. Nice house. Let's see the backyard. I bet you this sold pretty fast. What is that? You got a little tiki bar or something like that? It's like, okay. All right. Well, we got a basketball court, got a balcony, and I guess that's like it's a pavilion. That's a sitting area. So nice property, okay? They asked for $950, dropped the price to $920, and then they accepted an offer at $880. So they started too high. That's clearly the deal. And then it also says here that the seller paid $30,000 in concession. If you don't know what a concession is, it's basically a seller giving you back some money so that you could use, like let's say you give them an offer at $880, but you really need money to pay your closing costs at closing. So if the seller gives you back $30,000, like it's mentioned here, you could use that to pay whatever you need to pay, the bank fees, title fees, pay your agent, whatever. It's just basically rolling your closing cost into the mortgage. So pretty cool. Let's take a look at another one. Let's jump down out of Beth Page. I want to get more towns, more, it's a lot to go through all these comps. So I want to give you guys a bunch of towns. Here's Franklin Square. 13,500 taxes, 4 beds, 2 baths, 71 by 100. Nice looking photos. Agent did a great job. High quality photos. Did a great job. Kitchen's nice, whatever. It's may not be everyone's style, but it's definitely move-in ready, clean. You don't need to renovate it right away. Bathroom's nice. Everything, this whole house is move-in ready. It's wonderful. See the backyard. We got a finished basement. Backyard's got a little patio, a little play area. Very nice. Okay, so they asked for $895. They got $895, and it was all cash, even though it was on market 28 days. So, wow. All right, well, if it's a cash deal, I'm not going to do a mortgage calculation for you. Let's find another one we can do. Let's do some Freeport action here. So we got 120 Nassau Avenue, Freeport, 635 sold. All right, then we got 10,700 taxes, 3 bed, 2 bath. It looks like this is a flip because everything's brand new. I don't know why there's a treadmill in there. Maybe, oh, everything's brand new. And there's no furniture. I'm still thinking this is a flip. Maybe like when they bought the house, there was a treadmill in the house and they were like, leave it for the next buyer. I flipped houses. I would find stuff in the house sometimes when I'm like, I found a jar of like old pennies in a property once, and I brought it to be like appraised, and they were worthless. I thought like, oh, here's a collection of special pennies. They were old like wheat pennies, and it was absolutely worthless. But I flipped the house, right? So just, you never know what you're going to find. Original price $599. They accepted an offer $635. 16 days on market with a conventional mortgage. So let's break this down here. Let's pretend that you bought this, all right? First, I'm going to show you what your monthly payment would be as a buyer. So it was $635. It was a zero. I'm going to assume that you're putting down 20%. You don't have to put down 20%. I say that every video, but we're just going to assume that you're putting down 20%. You could put down as little as 3.5% when you buy a home. And I'll show you the difference in the payment. So interest rates, I'm seeing people get about 6.25. You want to play it safe? Let's just say 6.3. Property taxes here are $10,763. So let's add that in. We have no private mortgage insurance at 20%. And I'll assume the homeowner's insurance is $2,000. 30-year mortgage. This payment will be $4,208 a month. You would need $127,000 to close this deal. And yeah, let's take a look if it was 3.5. So if you put down the minimum that must be made, you got to put back private mortgage insurance. At the minimum down payment, it's $5,137. So it's about $900 difference. And of that, $280 a month is going towards private mortgage insurance. Now, here's the deal. If you can get the house appraised 6 months down the road, and it turns out the value went up, whatever, market shot up or something. I don't think any market's going to shoot up right now. I think markets are going to shoot down, but whatever. Let's just pretend that the house value went up. You can get the house appraised by the bank, and they will make this payment come off if it turns out you have 20% equity. So you may not be paying this for the full 128 payments. You'll only have to pay it until you have 20% equity in the property. So little tip, keep that in mind for something. But you can see the difference is only about $900. So sometimes people play with these numbers. Instead of putting down 20%, let's say we're going to make it 10%, right? They're like, all right, well, I'll keep a little extra money in my pocket, right? So it was, the original number was 4208, and now at 10% down, it's 4863. So a $450 difference, but you got to keep $63,000 in your bank account, or use the $63,000 to do renovations. You know what I'm saying? So every $10,000 you add, here, let me show you this math. All right, so I'm going to make it 20% because it's just nice and clean and easy to see. All right. So we got our starting payment here, 4208. I'm going to change this 635 to be 645. All right, I'm going to hit calculate. So the new number is 4257 minus 4208. Every $10,000 you go up is a $50 a month, assuming you don't have to pay private mortgage insurance. If you have to, do PMI because your down payment's less than 20, it could be $60 a month. It could be $70 a month. But essentially, that's what every 10 grand is moving. $50, $60, $70, depending on how much the down payment is. So that also is the same when you're adding to the down payment, right? So let's say I want to put down a little extra, like sometimes people say to me, Andrew, I'm not going to buy a house this year because I want to save. I need to have a bigger down payment. I'm not ready yet. And I'm telling them like, all right, well, look, depending on what the market's doing, like at some points the market is going up so high. And I ask them, how much money do you think you could save in a year? And they're like, I could probably save 20 grand, right? Okay. Well, it'd take you a year to save 20 grand, and we put that toward the down payment. All we're doing is saving $100 a month. But if the market is moving up faster than that, like for example, let's say like the houses in the area were selling at 500, but then it looks like the prices are climbing, and now they're selling at 520, and then they're selling at 530 or 550. You're trying to save to save an extra $100 a month, but the prices are moving faster than you can save. It may not make sense. So sometimes you got to sit down with an agent or sit down with a loan officer and go over these exact numbers and figure out, all right, do I pull the trigger now? Do I wait till next year? It really depends on you and your personal situation and what's going on in your area. Obviously, some areas prices are going up and some areas prices are going down. You got to have a personalized consultation to figure that out. So anyway, that's what the payment would be. That's your down payment. You got an idea on that? Let's go over closing costs. Now, in general, I always say the buyer should be prepared to have 3% for closing costs. So let's take a look at that. 635,000 times 0.03. Closing costs would be about $19,000, could be 20. Let's break it down a little bit. So first, let's get a title insurance quote. Now, this is Nassau County. For those who don't know what title insurance is, it's an insurance policy that's required in New York State. And what it does is it insures you in the event of mistakes that were done in this closing process. Like, say, for example, someone comes along and they're like, well, I don't know who sold you this house, but it belongs to me. And there was like some fraud that took place. Well, now you have an insurance policy that protects you. Like, for example, someone could say, oh, I own this house. And then a family member shows up 6 months after you close and they're like, that person didn't have the right to sell this house. I have a claim to this property. I'm supposed to be paid on it, and they sold it without telling me, and blah, blah, blah. Like, that would be a nightmare scenario for a new buyer, right? This insurance policy protects you against that. It protects you against a lot of things that could go wrong with the closing process. It's basically doing research on the property and protecting you in the event of a lot of what would be catastrophic situations. So it's required too. You have to have it. But the nice thing is that it's regulated. So the prices are pretty much the same everywhere. If I give you a quote here, it's going to be almost identical to whatever quote you get from another company. So this is just my company. So owner's policy. So we're going to pay about $3,000 for the policy. And then you have these endorsements that need to be done. We have taxes. We have a mortgage tax here, $4,000, and then you have a bunch of these miscellaneous fees. It comes out to $9,942 going towards title. All right, let's get that. Now, let's assume our attorney is going to cost $2,000, and I tell you guys every video, it could be less, it could be more. It's but anywhere from $1,800 to $2,200 is normal. It depends on what they're doing, the service they're providing, all that comes into play. Now let's assume bank fees. Let's say that the bank is charging 1.5%. Now, like I mentioned before, that can vary. Some people will have higher bank fees than others. Some people will have lower bank fees than others. Because let's say, for example, you need to pay points. There's a fly in my house. Let's say, for example, you need to pay down your interest rate. We call that points, right? So we pay down our interest rate because we need the rate to be lower, and that will help us qualify for the mortgage. Well, if that's the case, then the loan officer is probably going to tell you, instead of bringing 3% for closing, we may have to buy an interest rate down from 1%, and then you're going to have your 3% closing cost. So maybe you need 4%, maybe you need 3.5% total. That will vary. So when I give you an estimate at 1.5%, I'm assuming that that's what you need to close, and it's getting pretty close to where you need to be. In most cases, if you qualify without having to buy your interest rate down, it's pretty close to what I'm telling you. So so here 1.5% is 9,525. Let's add that to the 11,942.43. There we go, 21,467. So pretty close to the 19,000. I know it's $2,000, $3,000 more, but no, 2,000. But yeah, so it's still very close. I mean, this is what you would probably be paying in this scenario. It'd be $21,000. All right. That would be closing costs for the buyer. Now, closing costs for the seller, let's find out. Let's see if they had a mortgage. Let's see. By the way, we could access public records at any time, because if you're working with a licensed realtor, they usually have subscriptions to these databases, and they could pull up lots of information. So like right now, I'm going to find out how much of a mortgage this person had, if they had one. They may not have had one. Let's do Nassau County. 120 Nassau Avenue, Freeport. See, they have the owner's name on the listing. Owner's name is Fletcher, last name Fletcher. And let's see what the public record says. Yep. Devington Fletcher. All right, we got the right house, got the right address. Good. So looks like there was no mortgage. Wow, good for them. They bought it 2015 for $110,000. They got it real cheap. Good for them. I mean, it's a flip, so kind of expect that. But I wonder why it sat for so long, 2015. Maybe there's another sale that took place. There may have been another sale that has taken place that hasn't been recorded yet, just because sometimes I'm pulling up public records and it may not be up to date. So there could be another transaction. Maybe it was earlier this year, and that's going to get updated. And then you're going to see two transactions pop up in here. So cool, no mortgage. All right, so let's go over the closing costs. So they got 635,000. I'm going to assume that they are paying a 4% commission, 25,400. Okay. Then we got transfer taxes, which is going to be the purchase price divided by 1,000 times $4 for every 1,000. So $2,548 plus an attorney fee. And let's add that back to the commission. The seller would have been paying $29,940 in closing costs, covering realtor fees, transfer taxes, attorney fees. And then if there's any other outstanding debts, all that obviously is going to be subtracted from the purchase price. So that would be your closing costs on the sell side. And yeah, let's flip through a couple more. Let's take a look, closer look. Glen Cove, what we got going on here? Get a luxury property here in Glen Cove. Wow, big drop in price. My goodness. This is on Morgan's Island. If you ever been up here, it's so nice. Little, I hate how close the houses are to your neighbors for that much money. I would want some grass and trees and some privacy. But wow, look at that. Look at that. Look at that view. Oh, man. What am I doing wrong? I'm clearly, whatever this person does for a living, that's what I need to be doing. Being a realtor does not make you that much money. Look at this. Incredible. I want to see the backyard. I want to see if there's any like real cool features in this house. Indoor pool. Mind blown. That's it. It looks like there's an elevator. We got an elevator in the house with an indoor pool. Oh, so jelly. So jelly. Do you understand? And an outdoor pool. Oh my God. I am so jealous. Look at that. Sorry, I'm having a moment. Taxes of 56,000, 5-bedroom, 5.5 bath, 120 by 183. All right, so they asked for 5.3. They got 4.6, and they were on market 226 days. They probably got so disappointed, but it did have a mortgage. And they have a mortgage here. It says the mortgage amount. Wow. Finance, I don't know what that number is. Is that, oh, they financed 1.4. So they put down a lot. Okay. All right, cool. You want to see what that mortgage payment looks like? All right, so they financed 1.4. So we're gonna make the loan amount 1.4. So 1.4, let's just say 1.5. 100 million. There you go. All right. Oops. All right, I gotta start at the top. So 4.6, 4.600. Okay. Is that million? No, I'm 1 0 short. There you go. Now the percentage down, let's see. 14000 divided by 46. It's about, no, the loan amount's about 30%. So they put down 70%. There you go. Okay. Let's make it a little bit less. Let's just say 65, or is it 60, 68, 67? Because it was, what was it? 1.4? 1.425. Probably about 66. 4, all right, that's close enough. Whatever. We're 67 here. Okay, then let's say property taxes are 50,000. This is like someone's annual salary just going towards property taxes. Homeowners insurance, let's just say it's a 10 grand policy. Waterfront, and maybe more. Let's say it's 12 grand. Waterfront, it's huge property. This monthly payment is 15,000. 15,111. Wow. I don't know what to say. I'm shocked. Let's move on to the next one. This is crazy. That's crazy. Move on to the next one. Let's find something in Levittown here. Here we go. We got 50 Sadler Lane. Nice looking house here. Looks like kitchen's nice and clean. It's updated. You know, these Levittown houses, they all have a fireplace in the middle of the kitchen, dividing the kitchen and living room. Yep, right here. Kitchen's right behind this wall. So it makes the kitchen a little on the small side, but whatever, it's affordable. All these Levitt houses were built by the same guy, so he made them all the same. So these people asked for 575, they got 605, and it was 12 days on market. DOM means days on market. Let's look at these numbers here. We got 605 purchase price, 605,000. Let's assume it's 20% down. And property taxes are 12,356. Whoops. 12,356. Homeowners insurance, let's just say $2,000. $4,192 a month. That's about average. That's about average now. So let's see, what kind of closing costs would these guys have? Let's break it down. You know, the closing costs really can swing and vary based on how much the bank is charging you. And if you don't have a mortgage, it's a lot less. So let's do Nassau County. Purchase, residential, one family, 605,000. Mortgage amount, 484,000. Not new construction. So this would be $9,547 for a title, including your mortgage tax, plus attorney fee. And then let's assume that it was 1.5% for the bank, times 0.015. Add it back, 11,547. Boom, $20,622 closing costs for this buyer. All right, now for the seller, let's see if they had a mortgage here. 50 Sadler Lane. There you go. There we go. You know what's pretty cool about this system is that like you start typing an address and it starts to suggest address for you. And you kind of learn that, wow, there's not many repeated addresses, even though the towns vary. Like I could have typed 50 Sadler and it could have been like multiple towns, but no, it doesn't work like that. Okay, so mortgage. Yeah, they had a loan amount here. It looks like they owed 269,000. So let's do the math here. We had 605 minus mortgage. Okay, then we had, let's assume the commission here was, let's assume commission is a different number this time. This was 5%. Okay, we're going to add attorney fee. And then we have to add transfer tax. Oh, that fly. Divide by 1,000 times 4. Okay, let's add it all back together. So transfer taxes plus commission and attorney fee. And now we're going to have to subtract that from the here 605. 000 minus closing costs, 34,670 minus mortgage amount, which was 269,528. Boom, that person walked away with 300,802. So that would be all the costs for the seller, assuming they don't have any other debts they needed to pay down. Sometimes there's like other things that could be on the property. If you don't pay your credit cards, if you don't pay mechanics, if you don't pay like, service industry workers, they can put liens on the house. And then when you sell a house, you have to pay those debts if a judge orders it to be that way. So yeah, there could be anything on a house. So I'm just assuming that it's just the mortgage, it's just these taxes and everything, fees, and that would be your closing costs. That would be the net for that person. Hopping down into the county a little bit more. Let's look at Merrick. 33 Crocus Avenue. These houses in Merrick sell for a lot. Look at this. Acceptable offer, multiple backups. Inspection done. House gutted in 2011. Finished basement 3 years ago. Roof 4 years old. New driveway. Open concept. Very nice. Looks like a lot of the houses I see. Everything's clean, moving, ready, beautiful, ready to go. This is no wonder it was multiple offers. It's exactly what people want. Small little backyard. Oh, I love when they do floor plans. Congratulations to this realtor. You did a great job. All open concept here. So they asked for 725. They got 785. How does that work? 100 negative 115 days ago? No, there's clearly a mistake in the dates here. Something's up with that. I don't know why it says that, but listed 528, under contract 618. So there's just an error on the listing, but you can see it's about a little less than a month before they went under contract. So they probably did open houses, got an offer 2 weeks later, and then went under contract. I just want to let you guys know. Literally, I paused the recording because the fly landed like right there, and I threw my mouse pad and just nailed it. So that's why I paused the video and came back. Nailed it. Anyway, let's pop down, get a couple more in here. We got some Plainview sales, Port Washington. What's going on in we got one in Syosset. This is new construction. So when there's a new construction home that sells, the taxes are going to be 0. And what happens is the bank is going to make you put down more money than usual in most circumstances because they don't know what the property taxes are going to be yet. So they want to play it safe and not, push you too far on your loan amount until the tax bill comes in. And it could take a year before you get your tax bill. So you gotta be brave. You put down a good amount of money, you could be prepared for, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month tax bill, depending on what it is. Because new construction it's not going to be cheap. All right, so they asked for 1.428 and they got 1.430. So it's basically what they asked for. There's no other pictures other than this one. So we can't flip through it. 5-bed, 3-bath, 65 by 100. Here we go. I got something in Uniondale. 1225 Pembroke. 8,500 taxes, 4-bed, 1-bath. So they asked for 544,900. I don't know, interesting number there. And they got 615, 13 days on market. Look at an older house, man. We got these wood paneled walls, we got this shag carpeting. I'm sure someone's gonna renovate this whole thing. Old kitchen. My goodness, I'm surprised they paid this much and it needs all this updating, but hey, market does what it does. Look at that. That's like 80s fancy right there. All right, so if you had bought this house, let's take a look at these numbers. So you got a 615 purchase price. I'm assuming they're going to put down 10% this time. Let's just say 10%. Okay. We need PMI. Property taxes were 8,588. Copy that. Paste that here. All right, so your monthly payment on this house at 10% down would be 4,562. You have $253 a month going to PMI. At 10% down, you need $61,500 to do this deal. You could do this at little as 3.5. And then your monthly payment would be 4,827. It wasn't that big of a jump. And you need significantly less money, $40,000 less. So sometimes it's worth it. Right? Sometimes what makes sense is to like go into a deal, sign a contract with someone, you see what the house appraises for, and if it appraises for enough, you could switch up the loan terms. Like, you know what, I offered one number, it appraised for more than I thought. I want to take that equity, and you can switch it up and pull out the money. You could lower your down payment, whatever. You could do all that. Once the deal is good, you know that the bank will approve the purchaser, and the appraisal value came in where it needs to be or better. Then usually the seller will give you that flexibility if you want to change the contract price, finance more, and get some of your equity to use like your closing costs and use whatever. Most cases you can do that. People will usually cooperate with you. So, it's good to know. And closing costs, like I said, let's just assume it's 3%, and I've been about $2,000 off every time. So we'll do 3% times plus $2,000. So 615 times 0.03 plus $2,000. And this is probably closing costs right here. 20,450 for the buyer. On the seller side, 0.05, 0.04, sorry. Plus attorney fee, plus state transfer tax. Sellers are going to be paying $29.60 to close this deal. Guys, if you ever want to flip through comps, you ever want to look through stuff like your town, your house, what we do is I do this. I sit down with you and then we pull up a map and pull up all the closed sales in your area. I'll go over specific numbers with you, tell you what your closing costs are going to be, come up with a financial plan. Call me if you're going to buy or sell real estate. My number is 516-858-9434. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff, tickle the algorithm, blah, 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 blah. Help me get out there. If you don't do that part, this video doesn't do anything. I get like 10 views right now on average. So any comments, likes, and stuff like that would be very helpful. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for coming by. Stop the video.